Hello everyone, welcome to our, I forget what number it is, but it's our Podcastle number 4, I think.
Podcastle number 4, so Podcastle is sticking now, is it?
Well, I have no choice.
No, it's true, you have no choice. So we're a little bit achy and a little bit sore because we've been doing an awful lot of DIY because we were filming this weekend for Chateau DIY, which was really good fun. Actually.
Yeah, it was great fun. They were really, the cameraman and the sound guy, well, I don't know, it wasn't really a sound guy. You don't really have that anymore in crews, actually, in film crews. They tend to be much more compact, which is sort of like in the old days you'd have a cameraman, you'd have a sound man, you'd have a fixer probably, and you'd probably have like a hamburger van parked outside.
Yeah, where was the catering truck?
I don't know. There was no catering truck. The poor things had to go to the local supermarket and something like it looked pretty disgusting to me. But anyway, they were absolutely charming. They were eminently professional in everything they did. But what was extraordinary was that these two people, in essence, did the job of, I don't know,
however many people.
6 people.
Yeah, because I was telling Mum about it, and she used to work in TV, and I said, yeah, it was just 2 of them, and she seemed really surprised because obviously in her day, I think there were probably, half a dozen people would have turned up for a job like this, but no, just the 2 of them, got it all done, did some drone shots, did all sorts, did interesting things with like attaching cameras on top of doors and stuff like that to film the action shots.
Oh, there was a lot of action.
There were some action shots.
There was an enormous amount of action. There was one point I found myself surrounded by brick dust, and I was wearing goggles and using a power tool. I know you don't believe me. I
am very thankful that this was filmed because nobody would ever believe it otherwise. The amount of DIYing that you did this weekend was phenomenal. I've never seen so much.
Enough to last me a year. So I found myself, I did some like goggles on and then I couldn't see anything, and then I looked round and I could see Claire in the far distance of the room in this sort of like brown cloud, and JP the cameraman as well, in fact not filming me, just sitting there with his arms crossed looking bored,
waiting for you to finish that bit and do something more interesting.
Yes, obviously had enough of that, but there you go. So no, it was very well done, and strangely exhausting.
It was exhausting. I've been thinking about this, like why was it so tiring? And I guess it's partly because we had to do like the interviews for them as well, so it was quite a busy couple of days of doing the interviews, doing a bit of what they call B-roll, which is just them filming us doing other stuff, so we gave the dogs a bit of a run around, as well as then filming the DIY stuff. And I don't know, I suppose it's just being on your best behaviour the whole time, isn't it? It's being like up ready because they're asking you questions all the time of like, how's it going? What do you think of the thing we're going to do next? How did that bit go? And stuff like that. So
you may notice that we're not allowed to talk about what we did. So that's why we're going, how did that thing that you were doing go? It's a bit boring, I know, but there you go. In a year's time, you'll be able to see all of it.
Yeah, that's the rules.
On TV, and we'll film our own bit, which we'll be able to show you after the programme has aired. Well, actually, how long? 6 months?
No, after it's aired.
Oh, after it's aired. Okay,
fine. Yeah.
So we'll be able to do our own episode on YouTube.
But I realised it was surprisingly tiring because when we're working on something, if we hit a brick wall, which when you see the episode, you know what I mean.
We're not talking about what they filmed at all.
So if you discover a problem, we will go away, have a cup of tea, think about it, maybe come back the next day. But they're waiting on us. They're there to film us. We can't just go, let's go and have a half an hour sit down and a chat about this. It's like, right, keep going. We've got to keep going.
As I may have pointed out, that an enormous amount of tea gets drunk when we make our YouTube films. So, and there are quite a lot of biscuit breaks and things like that. So on this occasion, there were not.
No, we're working to
it was pretty full on, wasn't it?
a proper professional filming schedule. Like, we've got to do things on time and be prepared.
Yeah, it was good fun though. I enjoyed it, and I don't know, we seemed to enjoy each other's company, which is good. So we had a bit of a giggle together, which was great.
Good. It did throw up one thing, which is how underprepared we are for DIY.
Especially me.
I meant technically tools.
Definitely under-equipped with sort of like proper. No, you've got the right sort of like breathing mask, but actual sort of like face mask, and of course I wear glasses. So the moment I pick up a power tool, if I'm not wearing my glasses, then it's not a pretty scene because I'm hoping for the best. And there really was one point when I actually could not see the guideline that I'd drawn to cut to. And I saw a bit at the top, a bit at the bottom, and I thought, all right, let's give it a go. Went a bit off occasionally, but hey ho.
It'll all be fine in the end.
Yeah, well, one hopes so.
So I guess there's a tip for you, because we're not really talking about chateau buying tips today. We're talking more about what we've been up to. You need all the power tools. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to go and buy toys.
Yeah, we need to, and also because we bought. I don't know how to do the tool that we were using is a electric thing, but uses batteries. You get through the batteries and then have to wait 4 hours for it to recharge. So suddenly that's not quite such a good idea, is it?
It's good for tea breaks, mind. But rather long tea breaks, rather too long tea breaks, I think.
So I think before we dive into any more, we're going to need a bit of a rethink on the tool situation. And also, I think I spent half an hour just looking for things, because it's a problem with a big house. You put something down and then it's gone.
Yeah, definitely.
You end up, half the time, you end up buying another one because you can't find the thing that you put down. Like, phone cables and stuff like that. It's like, I'm sure I put that down somewhere. Haven't found it for a few days. I'm just going to have to order another one, because rather than set
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time. So what else have we been up to? We, I don't know, if you follow us, you may remember a story I told about being out on the fabulous John Deere mowing the lawn out the front of the chateau, which tends to be my sort of main pastime in the summer at the weekend. And there was a lady who was walking down the lane on the other side of the hedge, and she was waving at me like crazy, and I stopped the John Deere and had a chat with her. Anyway, long story short, she, as a child, used to work here as a maid.
When she was like, 16, 17?
Yeah, I think 16.
16, blimey.
And anyway, she told a really interesting story, and it was really our dream to be able to find her again, because I think for her to be able to share her story, so she is 80 now, so it's a long time ago we're talking about.
Yeah, and this is why, so again, if you follow us, we've had a bit of press recently, like in the French newspapers, because we've been asking for people to get in touch. Anybody had a connection to this place who worked here, to get in touch with us and share their stories. So we received a letter from this lady because her sister had read the newspaper and realised it was her that we were talking about. And then so she got in touch with us, which is fantastic.
Which is fabulous. I mean, I have to say that we did. It was a good few weeks before she wrote to us, so I'd given up hope really. But look, there's all of this that she wrote, pages and pages, all by hand.
So if you are just listening to us, that is about 8 pages of A4, All handwritten.
Oh, she's numbered them 8, yes.
Yeah, that was a good guess. Yeah, 8 pages of A4, all handwritten. Amazing.
Really lovely, and sort of recounting, some of her experiences here. One of which was about how she got a job here, and at the young age of 16, she did a day's work and then made her way up to what is the attic, which is, I guess, where the staff would live and sleep, and went to bed up there, but got very frightened, and so frightened that I don't know how they got hold of her sister, who didn't live here. Her sister came to get her that night because she was too frightened to sleep here. And then she continued working, but she just didn't sleep here. She would come every morning.
I've often wondered about that, because when we go up into the loft, it is so cold and drafty up there, and if there's a storm,
that'd be really
noise up there must be.
Yeah, really. You're sort of like close to the elements. It would be quite unpleasant, especially for a little girl. I mean, 16.
Yeah.
You're sort of not a baby anymore, but I mean, nonetheless, if it's the first time, it probably was the first time that she would have spent away from home.
Yeah.
And to be sort of, find yourself in an enormous house like this.
Up in the loft with people that you didn't know. I don't know. I don't know how many people worked there at this time. This is what I'm so fascinated to find out about, because it's quite straightforward to find the history of the Baron and the Baron's family that lived here, because they're on record. There's lots of information about them, so you can find out about them. But for the people that worked here, I mean, that's a very different story, and there must have been lots of them, lots of people working here, families, couples, lots of people whose lives and livelihoods depended on this place. And that, I just find that absolutely fascinating. I think I'm a little obsessed with finding out more about these people that worked here.
Yeah, completely. Somehow I suspect that. Anyway, long story short, she got in touch, and I phoned her the other day, and she was absolutely delightful. And I had written to her, and she said that she's more than happy to come, and she would love to come to the chateau and be shown around, and be interviewed about her time here, which we're very, very much looking forward to. So hopefully that will happen fairly soon. I
think that is going to be absolutely wonderful. I'm just thinking about it, I'm getting a bit emotional about it, strangely. I just think it's going to be wonderful to see her walking around this place. It's bound to trigger more memories once she's back inside.
Yeah.
Because she wrote a few memories in the piece of paper, which we'll save until she's here. But that, I'm sure it's going to trigger lots and lots of stuff for her.
I mean, I just read, I won't read, but I mean, just to recount one of them, which was, it's such a tiny detail. But here she talks about she uses the word, the protocol, which is interesting, isn't it? Protocol tends to only be used now really around presidents and prime ministers and royals
and military.
But there was a protocol for when they would have a dinner party, and it was the changing of the plates after the starter and the main, and how they would often have to wash the plates from the starter, so that the plates could then be used for dessert, and that they had to work fast.
Funnily enough,
really fast.
We don't have enough small plates. I always end up doing that at dinner parties, washing up quickly between courses.
But it's not much of a story, but it's just such a delightful detail, and to imagine them in their uniforms, I suppose. Their kind of uniforms.
Yeah.
Working behind the scenes. And if you are any kind of a follower of sort of Downton Abbey, whatever, then it will put pictures in your mind. I mean, as a child, in the UK, there was a fantastic series called Upstairs, Downstairs, which, to be honest with you, I think Downton Abbey was very much based on.
I think Downton Abbey was sort of, the renewed version of it.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Upstairs, Downstairs was a TV production. And it was fabulous, and it had similar characters to Downton Abbey. So if you're into anything like that, then it all of this is utterly fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, it's charming. It's just it's historically fascinating.
I find it absolutely fascinating. And I don't know if I'll do this. I don't want to embarrass her, but I would quite like to sit her down in the dining room, and I will serve her tea and cake.
Well, I think you can do that.
Lady of the house can serve her. I think I would really like to do that, but I don't want to make her uncomfortable or anything. No,
exactly. You do have to be very careful because there is a certain formality that is expected in this country, and they do tend to stick to it. In fact, funny enough, on the phone, when I answered the phone, she telephoned me and answered the phone, and she went, "Hello, it's Gabrielle," and I went, "Oh yes, thank you so much for that." Anyway, we had a conversation, and at the end of the call, she said, "Well, thank you, Monsieur. I look forward to coming to see you." And I said, no, but that's great, but please call me Lionel. And she said, "Oh, no, I couldn't possibly call you Lionel. I'm going to have to call you Sir."
That's a really interesting thing about the French, actually, isn't it? Because we had this as well with the guy that does our house insurance, boringly enough. He's a younger guy. I don't know, how old is he? 30?
30, something, yeah.
And on the phone, this was early days, and you kept saying to him, "No, just call me Lionel." And he's like, "No, I can't do it. I have to call you,
I have to call you Sir.
I have to call you Sir." And then obviously you've told him enough times, and he would speak to you, and he'd go, "Hello, Lionel." Really, it's so ingrained in them. This, vouvoiring and tutoiring and all that kind of stuff is so ingrained that it's quite difficult, I think, for people to break out of it.
It's very difficult because it takes a long time, as we've sort of discovered, in the sort of, you could call it social protocol in France, before you can really sort of open up. We in the sort of Anglo-Saxon area, we're very good at our sort of little small talk, and we become quite open quite quickly about things, don't we?
And I think it's something. That the English and the Americans, I think, are very good at, is you are immediately doing your best to put other people at ease, to make people laugh, to make everybody feel comfortable. You want to quickly get to the point where people feel comfortable.
Yeah, whereas that's right. Yeah, you want to get rid of the formality, don't you?
Yeah, very quick. It's breaking the ice, isn't it? You want to get there quickly. Whereas with the French, they don't want to get there quickly. They want a few meetings first before they will relax a bit with you. And
and it's quite difficult because if you're used to, I suppose, the immediacy of the openness in the Anglo-Saxon world. When I say Anglo-Saxon, I may not be right on this, although actually in Germany they have the formality, very much the formality. So it may also be the case sort of in Scandinavia and the Netherlands and places like that. You may still have that. I don't really know, but certainly what we know with the Brits and the Americans. Well, the Americans are even quicker at opening up, aren't they? I mean, that's sort of, you can get into the nitty gritty within seconds, very, very easily. It's very, very interesting. Anyway, hopefully we can organise fairly soon. To have this visit, which I think
to do it on a nice day, because I'd like her to walk around the outbuildings and stuff as well, and tell us more about how they were used and how she remembers them looking, because I imagine she's going to be a little bit surprised to see what state they're in now. But it's going to be really, really interesting.
I mean, just as a fantastic historical record more than anything. Like you said, it's fairly straightforward to find out about the big families that lived in these chateaus. it's straightforward to find out about who they were and,
just names and dates.
But the actual detail of how they live their lives is much, much more difficult to find out. So I hope, I just want to hear what it was like. I just think it'd be fascinating and charming, really.
Yeah, I think it'd be lovely.
So what else are we going to talk about then, darling?
We're going to talk about what we've been up to, but actually I just triggered a memory. We were talking about French being polite. Just yesterday it was really charming. When I was walking Margot and I was down by the gate and a guy had just pulled up in his van and he had some flyers in his hand and I think he was going to put one in our postbox. But as I was there, he sort of came to the gate.
Yes, he told me.
And he was this older chap and he took his hat off to talk to me, and called me Madame, and I don't think anyone's ever done that to me. I don't think anyone's ever taken their hat off to talk to me before. And I was just like, this is quite nice actually. It was really
it's lovely, isn't it? I don't know. There's something really charming about. When I say charming, I don't mean to be
like patronising.
Patronising in any way. I really, really don't. I think it's
it was lovely. Nice. It wasn't. It wasn't in a patronising. It was just nice to have that sort of like. What is it? It's like just respect, isn't it? Respect for.
Well, it's because you're a lady. Because
I'm a lady. Yes.
You are a lady.
But yeah. Anyway, that was nice. So anyway, we were going to talk about.
I should make sure I take my hat off more often.
Yes, I think you ought to. So what we're up to this week, what we're trying to get up to this week.
What we're trying to get up to this week is we are going to go and have a close look at what will be our ensuite bathroom.
Yay!
And our tower power shower.
Wow, what?
Fantastic. And so we're going to go and have a look at that. We're going to take all the rubbish that's accumulated in there. So it's become a bit of a dumping ground, isn't it, for tools and rubbish.
It has,
so we're going to empty it all out and decide what we're going to do. Because I'm fairly convinced there's some kind of plumbing in there.
I think there is some plumbing. I don't know how old it is, what state it's in. Don't know what state the floor's in because it's covered with something at the moment and the walls. So it's really sort of getting in there and having a proper look. But I think we've been somewhat encouraged by our DIY experience this weekend to tackle a bit of a bigger job, haven't we? Or begin, anyway. But there will be more tea and biscuit breaks.
Did you notice how I went quiet then?
Yes, you did, didn't you? Your enthusiasm is waning again.
No. Well, just, I can remember what I was like before I did DIY. And life was calm and lovely and delightful.
Yes, but we would also like to live in a finished house.
Yes,
with
we
a beautiful
would.
bathroom rather than the sort of like monstrosity that we have at the moment.
Yeah, we would, because it would be really nice to be able to walk from the bedroom into the shower or the bathroom.
And it'd be warm. That was the dream.
That would be great.
Don't ask for much, do we?
No, not much, no. We don't want millions. Well, that'd be quite useful.
That would be nice, actually. That would be very handy.
I'm extremely annoyed that I haven't won the Euro Millions yet. I don't get it.
It's not. I'm going to complain.
Who are you going to complain to? Can you complain to someone?
Yeah, I'm sure you can write a letter. I don't know.
Yeah? Do you think they might get quite a few of those?
I imagine they might get one or two.
Yeah.
So I'm working at the moment on a big sort of like project management thing because I think we've realised that we've been here 3.5 years and we've done the room that we're in at the moment, which is the living room, salon. But
actually, to be honest, sorry, I have to interrupt you there, Danny. I think suburban England would call it a living room,
yes.
But the aristocratic Brits would call it a drawing room, and we call it a salon because we're in France.
Well, that's me told. Anyway, the room that we sit in, it could be a sitting room as well.
No. It's either drawing room or salon. That's the only choice you've got, I'm afraid.
Okay. This room, what we are in right now.
Oh, come on.
So, this is not even properly finished yet. We're still looking for a light. Where was I going with my point? Yes, my point was proper planning. So I guess in the last few episodes, we've been giving you a lot of sort of advice about how to buy a chateau and what to think about. But once you get into one, you don't actually have to do the work.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Where do you begin?
Where do you begin? So I think that's what I'm giving us a little kick by doing this project management. Write down everything that needs to be done.
Hang on. What you're doing project management about doing the place up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah. So the plan is to write down absolutely everything that needs doing, and then we can try and actually put it on a timeline and work out when we might achieve these things, or what is achievable. Because our new catchphrase of like being realistic and don't kid yourself. There's a lot to do.
No, that's relating to buying the place. That's
but it's
relating to doing it up.
Well, it is in a way. We've got to be realistic about what we're.
No, I'm kidding you. I know, of course it is. Yeah.
What are we capable of?
Yeah.
We had a couple of days of doing some heavy duty DIY, and I am still in pain. My shoulders are aching.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. I keep falling asleep every 5 minutes. It's terrible. I think you need to get into training, I think, to be able to do this properly.
I'm not allowed to complain about that. I got a message from my dad. On that episode I was saying, it's hard work, and don't take on more than you can do, and it's tough working every day. Yeah, so my dad lives in New Zealand, and I think he's got 10 hectares of farm, and he's building a house at the moment. So he was just laughing his head off at me for complaining at my younger than him age.
Laugh.
Yeah, but I do have renewed respect for those people with YouTube channels that are doing DIY every day, because blimey, I don't know how they do it.
Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I've just managed to avoid it for as long as possible, and now I can't. now I have to get into it. And I've done it before, so I can do it again.
You can do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, apart from the fact that the last time I did it was probably about 30 years ago. I'm sure that amount of time having elapsed won't affect me at all.
No, not at all. How many knee replacements have you had since then?
I haven't had any knee replacements. You lost a few brain cells, mind you.
Well, you and me both, darling. You and me both. Well, so what else are we going to talk about today? I think we've done our list.
I think we've done our list, and rather than bore you with whinging, I think we'll leave it at that. And thank you for joining us again. To completely run out of things to talk about.
I know. I think it's because
unlike
we're
us.
Actually exhausted from DIYing. I think it has actually done us in.
Yeah, that's not good, is it?
It's not good. Okay, we will renewed energy for next week. But they're coming back again. Is it next week or the week after?
Yeah, next week, I think.
More.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
More. Oh, good grief.
Oh no.
Medical insurance, quick. As you know, the health service here is quite good. It's not quite, it's very good, I hasten to add. Yeah, so no medical insurance needed. Actually, this is a good country to do DIY in.
Yeah.
Because if anything goes wrong,
it's all covered.
It's all covered, mate.
It's not the attitude. Nothing is going to go wrong.
No, nothing's going to go wrong.
We'll be absolutely fine.
Brilliant. Well, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.